and wind it around and around and around, just like this. And that's what it looks like. Hello, welcome to WayPoint Survival. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a forgotten 1930s hobo lamp heater from an old tin can. Stay tuned. This type of heater was quite popular back in the time of the Great Depression. And it was used by hobos, it was used by railroad men, it was used by surveyors, pretty much anybody that had access to just some scrap materials and a little bit of something that would burn. And so we're going to show you that right now. I think it's a project you're going to like to do. Again, it's very simple, doesn't take a whole lot, nor is it expensive. Let's get to it right now. To make this project, you're going to need a few simple materials. First of all, you're going to need some dirt or sand that you can get usually fairly clean, to be a good idea. Then you're going to want to get a tin can with the lid. You're going to need a couple of pieces of wire. Now that's just about a span, about 8.5, 9 inches long between pinky and thumb tip. And then some pieces of 100% cotton for a wick, a pair of pliers, which every hobo would carry, of course, a large nail, and then some small container of kerosene. They would have carried that in some sort of a flask. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do to this can is we need to take our wire, and we're going to take the pliers, and we need to form kind of a circle. So you can do this if you have soft enough wire. You can do this with your hand, but you're going to need something like that. Then you're going to want to bend it up, again like that, so that we have kind of a flat base. That's really important because this is going to fit down inside, just like that. Next, we're going to take the nail and the can, and very carefully, using the pliers, even though this isn't a hammer, but it will work because this tin is so soft, and we're just going to kind of tap through the can. You can see that right there, and wiggle that through to make a decent little hole, and we're down just a little bit from the top. We want to match that on the other side, so just drop it down straight through like this. Find the exact opposite corner. I'm going to do the same thing. Now, a hobo would have perhaps used a railroad spike or something. They did carry those. But the important thing is that we get this and then wobble the hole out good. Then we want to take the pliers, and where these sharp edges are, we want to crimp these down. So actually quite simple. Just crimp that down, and then you want to feel it real carefully to make sure that the sharp edges are off of it. Then we take the other piece of wire and we put a small, just a little J hook in it. You can see what that looks like. And we can do that to both ends. So we'll come to the other end and do the exact same thing. Put a little J hook in it so that we have a double-ended wire like that. Now go ahead and use the can and bend this around in kind of a circle like that. Just bend that around the can. That gives you a nice, smooth, even bend. And then from the outside, we'll go in with this one and go in with this one like this. And of course what we're doing is we're creating a small bail handle, because remember, this is going to get hot. And then we want to just kind of crimp this a little bit right here. This wire, want to crimp that in just like so. Not where it won't rotate, because we don't want it to stick up on us. So if you crimp it too much, you want it to stay open, okay, so that it can freely move around the can and lay down on the side so that it's not in the way. And that works pretty good. Before we go much farther, I want to take just a minute and remind you to go to our website at waypointsurvival.com. While you're there, you'll find a place where you can sign up for our WayPoint Survival digital class. You'll also see several places where you can sign up for the WayPoint Survival and Prepping 101 newsletter that comes out at least once a week. There's a lot of great information. It's totally free, and I think you're really going to like it. So make sure and sign up for that. You can also sign up for our in-person classes here at our beautiful training facility in Southern Ohio. Again, make sure and check out that website and sign up for the free newsletter. After you get that bail handle on there, we take the other piece of wire and one of our 100% cotton strips. This came from an old white cotton t-shirt, And we want to start down here at the bottom like this and wind it around and around and around, just like this. There's different ways you can do this. And when we get to the top, we're going to take this and we're going to pierce right through the fabric like that. So what we have in essence is we have a coiled bit of cotton held up by this wire. Kind of see what that looks like. And then this will just lay down at the bottom. So we place that in the center of the can, just like this. And you'll have to play with it a little bit to make sure that it's setting fairly even. So right in the center of the can. And then you want to put a little bit of kerosene in here. Just enough to get the wick going. Soak that good. It doesn't pour too well. It's actually pouring off the back. But we want to get that wick pre-soaked. And that's an important step if you want it to work right. Okay, so we've got that in there. Now we want to take some of our sand and very carefully start to place it in around the outer perimeter. And you're going to make a little bit of a mess doing this. You're going to get some sand around and all of that, but that's okay. The important thing is that we try to keep this in the middle. And you want to fill the can up at least halfway, if not a little more than that. Now dry sand or dry dirt is going to be better. If it's got a little dampness in it, it'll still work, but obviously the drier the better. And then what you want to do is you want to periodically tamp this down with your hand. Try to compress this and get that tamped down as tight as you can get it. You know, obviously it's only going to go so hard there as far as tamping it. All right, then we're going to finish filling this up and get back with you. Now that we've got that all tamped in there, and it's a little more than half, probably more like 3/4 of the can, what you're wanting is about that much wick. So an inch or two would be fine. And then we're going to pour some of our kerosene in it. And kerosene was very common. It was carried all over the place. A lot of guys had it. You could get it just about everywhere because people used it in their kerosene lanterns. So very easy to get a hold of. But you could also use vegetable oil, olive oil, lard oil. Any of that would be historically correct and would work well. But this actually works super good right here. So we're going to pour this in. Let it soak in a little bit. And it's going to take just a little while for that to soak in good. And you want to let it go ahead and drain. Pour some more in. And what you want is you want this sand to be thoroughly soaked, but you don't want a big pool of kerosene or oil up on top. So you want the sand to hold it or the dirt to hold it, whichever you're using. So just kind of take your time with this. And as you can see, it's all drained in. And we're going to go ahead and put a little bit more. So just do this bit by bit until it's not going to hold anymore and the sand is thoroughly soaked. All right, it is doing very well, and I think it's going to take the rest of this. So this small bottle, it actually holds all of that kerosene, and that's going to be perfect for what we need it for. All right, when we go to light it, again, very simple, very easy. Kerosene burns well. And it's going to give us a really nice and hot flame, as you can see. And what's really nice about this is the weight of the sand keeps the can from tipping over, and it also helps to manage the amount of fuel that comes out of there. Now, if you don't want it to smoke so much, you make the wick smaller. But remember, this is a hobo heater, right? So this is something that you would use to stay warm. So the dirt or sand is going to hold this fuel in here. So it's going to keep it from just burning up right away. And the wick all the way down through, it's going to continue to pull the kerosene up for quite a long time. And it's reusable. All you have to do is dump the sand or dirt out. You can redo the wick. You can even just use a stick and shove the wick down in there with the wire beside it if you don't want to dump the sand out. And then, of course, you can take it with you. You could hang it from something if you didn't mind, had something that wouldn't burn. But this is going to be very helpful to carry it after it's extinguished, because this is going to get warm. This can will also help hold heat with this sand in here, and it's going to be something that you could settle around a fire or a small hobo shelter and help keep your hands warm. You can also use it to warm up your coffee. This is going to be something that a hobo could use for that, and it will be very easy to do. I'll show you that here in just a second. So if we want to cook with this, put it down at a somewhat level spot on the ground, and then you could use aluminum gutter spikes like this. They'll be lightweight and easy to carry. A hobo could use this for his shelter. They don't weigh very much. You could also use railroad spikes or even just green sticks. The idea is to put them down like this in the perimeter of the can. Then you can take your cooled off cup of coffee, put it down right over top, just like that. And we have a fantastic little coffee heater. And even though this is soldered tin, as long as there's plenty of liquid in here, we're not going to have a problem. And there you can get a good idea of what it looks like warming up our coffee. So when it comes time to extinguish the flame, you can blow it out, or if you have kept the wire a little bit below the top, you can just put the lid back on it and that will extinguish it. But as long as there's not any liquid fuel on top, you can just blow it out and we're good to go. So here we are, a nice cool evening. We've got a great cup of Joe in our tin cup here, and my, does it taste good. We've got our little warming fire right here, just adding a little extra heat. You could take this inside of a shelter as long as there was plenty of ventilation. Of course, you wouldn't want to use something like this inside of a house necessarily, just because of the ventilation issues. You want to make sure that the wick is short enough. And of course, always when you're using fire like this, you have to be super careful. But yeah, this is a fantastic invention, and it's a shame that it's been generally forgotten, but we're trying to bring this back out. So as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this little foray into the past as we look at some of the tips, tricks, and techniques of the hobos and the other woodsmen of the early 20th century. This is James Bender for WayPoint Survival. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure and check out the links in the description box below, just under the More button. While you're down there, you'll also find the link where you can sign up for our WayPoint Survival digital class. This is where you can train in the comfort and convenience of your own backyard the top 20 skills that we consider to be the most important from our Phase 1 Survival and Bushcraft class. You'll also find the link for waypointsurvival.com, where you can sign up to take in-person classes at our beautiful training here in Southern Ohio. And if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. And when you do subscribe, make sure and press that bell button so that you can stay notified of all of our upcoming videos. We'll talk to you next time.